We are tracking all of the breaking news for you out of Paris. Police are still on the scene of 2 apartments that they raided in that suburb outside of Paris just a short time ago. Officials say the suspected terrorists inside were close to carrying out a major operation, and officials believed the mastermind behind Friday's attacks was holed up inside, but they did not get him this morning. Joining us now to talk about this and so much more is Minnesota Congressman Keith Ellison. He's co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus and the first Muslim elected to Congress. Congressman, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about all of the ripple effects that we're seeing even back here as a result of what happened in Paris on Friday. As you know, Speaker of the House Paul Ryan says it is time to pause the refugee program that would have brought in 10,000 Syrian refugees, all a result of the humanitarian crisis that's happening there in that war-torn country. He says that given everything that we've just seen on Friday, it is better to be safe than sorry. What do you think of that logic?
I think that it's a long vetting process anyway, and that I think that we have an opportunity to give haven to people who have been abused and terrorized by the terrorists. And I think we should proceed on, but with all deliberate care and a careful vetting process, as we've had and as we expect to see from people like Jay Johnson and other people who are using international databases, multiple levels of screening. I think that it's important to be careful. I think he's right about that. But I think to put our program on pause might signal to Daesh that they're having an effect on what we do. And I think Daesh, we need to disrupt and destroy their narrative. See, these people create such a hellish condition for Syrian refugees that they're leaving this so-called Islamic State. And we're the ones given safe haven. I think this helps us show to the world that Daesh is not to be supported. And what I'm speaking to now is some of those people they're hoping to recruit. So I think for several reasons, it's important for us to move on, but deliberately, carefully, thoroughly. But we cannot let Daesh believe that they are disrupting our activity.
But let's talk about some of the possible holes in that vetting process that you speak of, because we know that one of the attackers, the Paris attacks, had a passport identifying him as a Syrian refugee, and he went through some refugee camp. He came in through Greece. He spent some time in a refugee camp. How can you be certain that they couldn't use that exact same ploy to get into the U.S.?
Because I believe that we have had nearly 750,000 refugees since 2001, and we've been remarkably successful. And so I think that we have professionals. We are looking at multiple databases, international in scope. We're having multiple layers of interviews, and the record so far has been good. But look, you know, this is not the first time America has had refugees who have come from war-torn countries where there are terrorist elements. We've had Somali refugees, Liberian refugees, refugees all over the world, and yet American Homeland Security and others have vetted these people in a very successful way. So I don't think it's time for us to panic. I think it's time for us to confront Daesh, their false narrative, demonstrate to the world that the West is the one that's compassionate, that they are the ones who are pitiless and merciless, and we need to confront them in every possible way.
Speaker Ryan wants to vote on this, on the pause, tomorrow, I believe, on the House floor. We've seen 31 governors who agree with him, who say that they don't want to take any Syrian refugees into their states. How do you think Congress will vote on this?
Well, you know, who knows? You know, the fact is that Paul Ryan is the head of the Republicans, who is the majority. And so, I mean, that might give you some indication for him to say something like that. He may have some support. But at the end of the day, my question to him and everybody else is this: do you really want Daesh to dictate terms to the United States? We have a vetting program. We have a program that needs to be bolstered, reviewed, and needs to be currently updated and improved. But to stop it just because of these people, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. I think we should be as careful as possible, but we need to make sure that the world knows, especially Daesh knows, that we're not afraid of them, and that we're going to offer safe haven to children and women who are fleeing their terror. And that's my thought.
Okay, Congressman Keith Ellison, we appreciate you sharing your thoughts on New Day. Thanks so much. All right, we will have much more about that police raid that we watched unfold in the Paris suburb, but we do have more breaking news. A group of people believed to be linked to ISIS arrested in Istanbul's airport. We have all of those details ahead for you.